As a society, we are choosing to follow a poor diet and to be sedentary or inactive. We are consuming more calories than we are expending in work and exercise, and this combination is making us fat and sick and is killing us. In 2010, 68.5% of the adult population was overweight or obese, a condition which leads to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and most kinds of cancer. According to the Institute of Medicine, as a nation, we are dieting more and spending more on diet and exercise aids, but we're not losing the pounds. Though it may seem that diet and exercise are under each person's control, we know that this is a complex issue and that other critical factors come into play. Social, cultural, economic, and policy factors. Let's refer to the social ecological model of behavior again. On the intrapersonal level, a person might be accustomed to fast food and takeout. He may not know what constitutes a healthy, balanced diet, may not know how to shop for ingredients or how to prepare healthy menus. He may not have the budget to buy healthy fruits and vegetables. He may choose processed foods, the nicely packaged products in the market center aisles, because they are cheaper. An intervention on the intrapersonal level might include classes on meal planning, wise food purchasing, and healthy meal preparation, all done economically. It might also include instruction on how to grow your own vegetable garden. On the interpersonal level, your family might be accustomed to rich, high-calorie foods that are part of your cultural tradition. As a family, you've discussed the diet dilemma and have decided to adapt yours or change it completely for healthier results. You've chosen a diet plan which is not too foreign to your tastes, is sustainable, and has the support of the whole family. Social support is critical. It makes it so much easier than going it alone. On the institutional level, your middle school feels that it needs to initiate more physical activity during the day. Teachers are planning active units for their book-heavy academic curricula. As one example, the science teachers are designing a geomapping day, an outdoors biology scavenger hunt with iPads for their 7th grade students. Studies have shown that people who are more active live longer, so why not begin the habit at an early age? Popularity of the automobile, which enabled growth of suburban communities, has increased America's inactivity. We've become lazy. On the community level, in many communities, health promoters have built bike paths, organized mall walker programs, and have put on public service announcements to remind people about the importance of daily physical activity at all stages of life. On the policy level, note that the food industry is big business, the way the tobacco industry is big business. Economics, not science or health, drive decisions about the production of food and how it's consumed. Because the food industry has been over-efficient in production, the U.S. has an issue of oversupply. Therefore, the industry persuades people to eat more and eat larger portions. The industry lobbies government and plays politics. It expands sales by marketing to children. It invented a sweetener, high fructose corn syrup, and adds it to all kinds of products because it's much cheaper than natural sugar. We don't know yet the health consequences of this synthetic ingredient, but that's a problem for another day. On a more positive note in the policy arena, Congress has passed a law that affects the diets and physical activity of all kids in American schools. The Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010 mandates the USDA to set guidelines for school wellness. The result is healthy policies promoting nutrition education, physical activity, and prohibiting junk food marketing in schools. Government essentially uses two tools, regulation and education, to promote healthy behavior, sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully, and sometimes with mixed results. One example of successful regulation is the prevention of smoking in bars and restaurants and in most public places. Anti-smoking laws have been widely accepted in most states to avoid dangerous, unhealthy consequences of secondhand smoke. As an instance of failed regulation, prohibition of the 1920s did not prevent the use of alcohol, as people found ways of getting around the law, and the law was repealed. An example of mixed results is a nutritional regulation in the federal government's National School Lunch Program. The government incentivizes school districts to follow its guidelines by providing funds to districts that comply and denying funds to districts that don't comply. Many school districts claim that the federally approved lunch program doesn't sell well in their schools. Kids don't like it, so they don't buy it. Therefore, many schools have chosen to forego the subsidies, preferring instead to stick to their own dietary standards. An example of successful education in public health is the campaign to help tobacco smokers quit the habit. Graphic advertisements have shown the devastating consequences of smoking, while counseling, support networks, and smoking cessation aids have helped smokers successfully make the change. An example of an unsuccessful educational campaign is the multi-pronged effort to curb the use of drugs. As with tobacco, the war on drugs has used advertisement and marketing as an extension of education to get the message across, but has not had the same positive results. In the Reagan administration, the Just Say No anti-drug campaign was said to have made an impression, but it didn't persuade a lot of people to change their behavior. The school-based DARE, Drug Abuse Resistance Education program, the most extensive U.S. prevention program so far, did little to prevent drug use. Today, the states have labeled heroin use as an epidemic. Public service announcements have appeared on TV and in movie theaters to reach out to the public with true stories showcasing the dire and ugly consequences of heroin addiction. However, statistics show that education and marketing are not winning this war. Finally, an example of mixed results is the campaign to help slow down climate change and its negative health consequences by, for example, appealing to automobile drivers everywhere to responsibly and voluntarily cut down energy use that contributes to carbon emission. Recently, the price of oil and gas has gone way down worldwide, and automobile drivers are not having to worry about the cost of gas or having to factor in the number of miles per gallon of gas when deciding what car to buy. Data shows that when dollars are not an issue, many Americans purchase gas-guzzling SUVs that only add to the carbon footprint and an unhealthy, unsafe environment. As your textbook concludes, public health must expand beyond traditional approaches of education and regulation in order to change people's unhealthy behaviors. But how do we do it? One way is to have the federal government stop subsidizing tobacco growers and unscrupulous practices of food industries, in spite of the fact that they're big and powerful, control lots of jobs, and have tremendous political clout. What would it be like in a world where tobacco and unhealthy foods were just not for sale?